All right, good Saturday morning, everyone. I'm Autumn Bracey.
And I'm meteorologist Becca Birdsall. Definitely a wet start to the weekend, Autumn.
The question of the day, when is the rain going to go away?
Yeah, we'll probably taper off by around 10, 11 o'clock. And then restart later on this evening. So there will be a break.
Okay, the break. You have to take advantage during this break.
Yes, especially if you have any outdoor plans or if you got to get things done outside around the house. That would be the time to do so. As this morning, we've got widespread rain. Really, the only areas not impacted by this is the mountains extending all the way up into the foothills. Burt Caldwell being spared by this as well. You can see some pockets of heavier downpours, especially in the yellows, darker oranges setting up alongside the I-77 corridor all the way from Iredell, Mecklenburg into portions of York County as well. This is all pushing up to the north and east, so we'll likely see those heavier downpours set up over towards Rowan and portions of Cabarrus County as well. Live look outside. It is dark and cloudy on this early Saturday morning, so if you do have any early morning plans, definitely grab that umbrella. Temperatures starting off very mild, upper 60s to lower 70s as you step out the door, with high temperatures upper 70s to lower 80s. Now there will be another round of showers and thunderstorms that come through this evening. All more details on that, plus what you can expect and everything going on in the tropics coming up.
All right. See you soon. Thanks, Becca. Well, breaking right now, CMPD is investigating 2 homicides. The first one is in the 8800 Hollow Creek Road in the University City area. The second is in the 5000 block of East Independence Boulevard. Medic says one person was transported for life-threatening injuries. Stay with us online and on air as we work to find out the latest developments. We're going to first begin with some new information in a homicide investigation. We're learning that a man is now behind bars in connection to a Southwest Charlotte homicide. CMPD says 33-year-old Darius Marshall is facing several charges in the killing of 37-year-old Tiara Jackson. It happened yesterday morning at the Woodspring Suites Hotel on DeBoer Avenue. That's just off West Arrowwood Road and I-77. CMPD tells us Marshall is now charged with first-degree murder. Developing this morning, an investigation is now underway after a man died while in CMPD custody. It happened on Eastway Drive near the plaza. Police say the man was detained during a vehicle search and suffered a medical episode while in the back of a patrol car. He was later pronounced dead at the hospital. The SBI is now leading this investigation. A 16-year-old who was shot at a sleepover on Sunday has died. Jeremiah Gonzalez was in the hospital after being shot at a home on East Todd Lane. The suspect, 20-year-old Josue Ramos, appeared in court yesterday on murder charges. He will remain behind bars after a judge denied his bond. Right now, there is a GoFundMe if you want to help Gonzalez's family as they lay him to rest. For details on how you can donate, you can visit our WCNC Charlotte mobile app or our website. Prosecutors say former South Carolina lawmaker R.J. May agreed to plead guilty to multiple charges in a child sexual abuse investigation. In the agreement, May would plead guilty to 5 counts of distribution of child pornography. South Carolina State Representative resigned last month after he was suspended. As a part of the agreement, May would agree to not appeal whatever sentence he is given. Prosecutors say he is expected to enter the plea agreement on Monday. Well, Hurricane Helene damaged more than 70,000 homes in North Carolina. A WCNC Charlotte investigation found in the aftermath, FEMA placed just 243 families in temporary trailers, mobile homes, and apartments. Those short-term solutions have remained a point of contention. First, as the federal agency delayed delivery to some survivors, then as dozens of unused FEMA trailers sat for months in a Hickory parking lot. WCNC Charlotte's Nate Morabito discovered for those help the trailers were a godsend, but they created added stress for others.
A vibrant homestead once so full of color.
We put everything we had into this property.
Almost feels like
Our dream was to have a farm.
it really was just a dream.
That was all the fruit trees here.
Jennifer Betesh and her husband's reality
This was our vegetable garden.
is now somewhere in the gray.
Literally everything we built and everything we planted in 10 years was absolutely gone.
The Helene survivors are grateful to be alive after rising waters and a landslide forced them to flee their Buncombe County home. But when they returned,
There was so much debris everywhere, you couldn't walk.
they found their farm destroyed, the Airbnb they rented for income flooded, and their home unlivable.
I just used to tell people, spin the wheel of problems, and we had all of them.
Hoping FEMA would help, they applied for temporary housing.
It was really a fiasco from start to finish.
But Betesh says the agency didn't deliver a trailer until 7 weeks later. And then it sat locked for another 3 weeks.
They wouldn't let us in it because they didn't hook it up.
She says they weren't able to move in until mid-December.
We cannot accept this. This has been way too slow.
Not long after, in Avery County, County Manager Philip Barrier expressed similar frustration. Disappointed so many FEMA trailers sat parked in Hickory when families in his county needed them, while some waited, desperate for help.
Most people don't want them.
State officials said thousands of others turned them down, supporting what FEMA has long said. Trailers are the most publicized type of disaster housing, but they're not necessarily the most practical. Still, they do play a critical role.
It is a lifesaver.
In the months after evacuating a campsite ahead of Helene, Christian Schaefer became one of dozens to move into FEMA trailers at this Old Fort mobile home park.
I'm glad they were here.
While he says the process wasn't necessarily the fastest, he knows without this backstop, which can extend up to another 6 months, he'd be homeless.
Yeah, it beats the heck out of living in a tent somewhere.
FEMA tells WCNC Charlotte the agency has connected 243 families in all with temporary units, and a little more than half have since found longer-term solutions. For 24 of those families, FEMA trailers are now their permanent home. The agency tells us those survivors bought the trailers the agency delivered, and dozens of others have expressed interest in doing the same. Back on Jennifer Betesh's farm,
That's the water line.
her view of the government's response to Helene
It's been the same lack of help.
is fairly black and white. She and her husband say by the time their trailer arrived,
We almost didn't need it anymore.
they only used it for a few weeks. But it did bring some color back into their lives, allowing them to cook their first hot meal in months. Fuel to help them rebuild their dream.
We have a lot of work ahead of us.
A process that started, she says, only thanks to the selfless giving of everyday people from all over the U.S.
I can't even explain to you what a situation we would be in without the volunteers that have come here to help us.
Nate Morabito, WCNC Charlotte.
Thank you, Nate. And 2 families impacted by Hurricane Helene received keys to their new homes in Newland. This is a part of country music star Eric Church's promise to use $12 million to support Helene victims. The Western North Carolina native announced last night his organization will also be gifting homes to community pillars in Avery County. Those who could qualify include teachers, healthcare workers, and law enforcement, among others. Governor Josh Stein spoke about this big impact.
The Blue Haven neighborhood will provide shelter, security, and a sense of belonging to many Avery County families. They're restoring hope and paving a way to brighter days ahead.
And the governor also said that he is hopeful all the additional homes that are being built right now for Helene victims are going to be finished by Thanksgiving. North Carolina's largest pottery sale is back at the Mint Museum, Randolph in Charlotte. The 19th annual Potter's Market at the Mint takes place today from 9 to 4 on the front lawn. This year, more than 50 of the state's top ceramic artists are going to be showcasing their work, including over 30 from Western North Carolina, many of whom are still rebuilding 1 year after Hurricane Helene. Well, after the break, we're going to see how the Biltmore estate is looking to the future after Hurricane Helene. Well, it's time to connect the dots when we make the news make sense. Thousands of families are still deciding what recovery means for them after Hurricane Helene. Should they rebuild or take a buyout and leave their home behind? WCNC's Ben Thompson explains what families are weighing right now and why time may be running out to choose.
Helene damaged thousands of homes, leaving a lot of families with no good options. A year later, some are still living in temporary housing. Let's connect the dots. One option, federal buyouts, where the government buys flooded properties and returns them to open land. Those have been slow to roll out. Others are choosing to rebuild or elevate their homes using mitigation grants. Both paths come with paperwork, appraisals, and lengthy approvals. It can take years before the money arrives or a project breaks ground. For families, it's a tough call. Do they sell to the government and leave their neighborhood behind, or gamble on rebuilding, hoping the next storm won't wash it away again? Either way, the housing crisis is one of Helene's longest lasting aftershocks, with communities still struggling to find a place to call home. And that is Connecting the Dots.
Thank you, Ben. Well, 1 year after Hurricane Helene hit western North Carolina, the Biltmore estate is open again and looking to the future. The historic site, owned by the Vanderbilt family for 6 generations, plays a big role in the local economy. Biltmore's Christmas celebration starts November 1st, marking 130 years of holiday tradition. As we look ahead to spring 2026, a new evening light show called Luminaire will launch, featuring lights and sound projected onto the estate. Well, it's time for your morning boost. WCNC Charlotte was honored with the Share Charlotte Goodie Award. You see them there. Our station, alongside the Humane Society of Charlotte, won the award for the best media partnership. And Larry Sprinkle was there. You see him accepting that special honor. For the last 40 years, he's dedicated some big efforts to help animals find their forever home. Larry, we're forever thankful for your contributions.
All right, it is busy in the tropics. 2 systems that we're monitoring, one that will have a high impact on the Carolinas. I've got more details on what you can expect going into this week ahead next.
All right, we're checking back in with Becca. Weather top of mind for people as they're waking up this morning to rain falling. Could we be seeing any of the impacts from the hurricane now?
Yeah, this has actually nothing to do with the tropical weather that we're expected to get later on this weekend. The rain we're seeing this morning is all associated with an approaching cold front. As that cold front continues to sweep off to the east, we'll actually see drier conditions as we go into your Sunday, but more updates to come. Now, checking in on the tropics, this is what we're watching. Two systems out there, one of which is a major hurricane. That's Umberto. This is going to take a similar path to Gabrielle, swinging westward, eventually making that turn to the right, and then potential tropical cyclone 9. That's what the National Hurricane Center basically calls the system before it eventually strengthens into what will be tropical storm Imelda. Starting with Umberto, winds sustained at 145 miles per hour. This is a very strong system. Just further off to the west, we've got potential tropical cyclone 9. Basically, I'll call this future Imelda. This will continue to organize, likely become Imelda later on this weekend as it continues to move off land, slowly drift up to the northwest right around 7 miles per hour. It's going to be a very slow moving system, potentially dumping lots of rainfall towards the Carolina coast as well as inland, but eventually making a right hand steer out to sea before even making landfall. That would be a best case scenario and overall bring lower impacts not only to the coast but also inland as well. So Imelda continues to strengthen this weekend. That's what will likely become our next tropical storm. Look how close it is to major hurricane Umberto. Umberto is actually going to help Imelda steer off to sea where we won't see the greatest impacts. Most models are sold on this, where it continues to slowly drift up to the north, eventually again pushing off to the east, but there are a couple of outliers out there, which is why we encourage you to frequently check back in with our latest tropical updates throughout the weekend. Regardless, we're still expecting impacts from this system, even though it may not even be making a landfall. It would just be lower impacts. 2 to even 4 inches of rain possible from the mountains into the metro. The coast could pick up over 4 inches of rainfall as well. Now, this morning's rain has nothing to do with that tropical system. We've got that stationary front to the west. This will continue to push to the east, but this is what's responsible for bringing us all the rain showers on this early Saturday morning. So as this continues to push off to the east, another round of showers and storms expected this evening, but as it continues to drift off, would expect a drier Sunday, even with a few peaks of sun possible, and overall few showers in the forecast. So timing this out for you, we will see a drying period towards the early afternoon. This is 3 o'clock, nothing to track. We've got some showers and thunderstorms, though, starting to move into the mountains. This will eventually make a run into the Charlotte metro with scattered thunderstorms expected right around 6 to 8 o'clock. Got that big Charlotte FC game at the Bank of America Stadium, so this very well could have impacts for that. May want to bring that poncho, of course, download that WCNC app so you can track those showers and storms in real time. Rain chances will taper off as we go into your Sunday. So let's put this all together in this Jerry Hunt Super Center 7-day forecast. Today, this morning, starting off with downpours. Again, not going to be raining the whole day, just another round coming towards the evening. Sunday, only about a 20% chance of a downpour, and then going to be watching Imelda for potential rain and wind impacts, especially Monday through Wednesday.
Thank you, Becca. Well, many in Western North Carolina chose to ride out Hurricane Helene, not prepared for what was about to happen. That includes a Burnsville man who was swept away in the raging floodwaters. He is now sharing his amazing survival story with WCNC Charlotte's Kevin Kennedy.
The images still fresh in our minds. Hurricane Helene pounding western North Carolina, blankets of water smothering and overwhelming neighborhoods. The tropical cyclone destroying more than 125,000 buildings and homes, killing close to 200 people. One of the communities hardest hit, Burnsville, North Carolina.
Bunch of debris everywhere, so much wood and crap.
The path of destruction widespread, so much damage and devastation, but woven in this mass of mayhem, a miracle. 12 hours earlier, all this was swallowed by water.
Oh my Lord.
Home video capturing the chaos as this neighborhood is under attack.
Oh gosh, there it goes. Oh my gosh.
Buildings and cars no match for the raging water. Somewhere in there is Jeffrey Silver.
My daughter saw him jump out of his house. out of the door, the front door.
His neighbors fearing the worst.
Jeff's in there somewhere. Hope he got to that island.
How could anyone survive this?
Oh, God. Oh, gosh. Hang on, Jeff.
You couldn't tell up from down. The water was just brown. It's all scattered up in my head. I mean, I can't explain it the way it was, but it was an ordeal.
This is Jeffrey, a survivor, but what a fight it was.
And I just done what I had to do. I was having to knock pop-up campers, oil barrels, propane gas tanks, everything, keep it from knocking me down.
The water pounding and pummeling him, his own trailer heading right at him.
My porch, actually, when I was down there, it run up on my legs and knocked me down and pinned me under the water there for a little while, and I jerked my legs out from under that porch some way. I don't know how I done it.
Seconds later, the water carries him further downriver.
I said, Lord, here I come. I said, I mean, I ain't gonna make it through this.
Still fighting. Time is running out.
I've been in the water so long then that I started getting hypothermia.
Then that miracle would happen.
That beech tree limb was just waving at me like that, and I reached up and grabbed it.
Somehow able to stand on a barbed wire fence and hang on. Water still raging around him. Jeffrey would spend the next 2 hours holding on.
I was trying to get up in the tree, and my strength was gone.
As the water receded, Jeffrey would wade through waist-deep water to reach the shore.
I never was scared. I mean, that never did scare me. I just, too busy trying to deal with everything I was dealing with.
Jeffrey would spend a few days in the hospital, but he is alive.
I thank the Lord for saving me. Because, I mean, I thought I was gone.
Now in a new home.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
On that same parcel he almost died.
I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. It was just a miracle.
Jeffrey has found peace in the land and the mountains that surround this valley. Kevin Kennedy, WCNC Charlotte.
All right, amazing story there. You're watching WCNC Charlotte at 7. We're going to be right back with your weekend tail wagger.
Hi, this is Larry Sprinkle. Time for our weekend tail wagger along with our friends at the Humane Society of Charlotte. Last week of this time, we featured Nareen, and great news, she was adopted. Let's bring on today's really extra special tail wagger. His name is Pipsqueak. He is a very big dog. In fact, he weighs about 128 pounds. He's about a year old. He's a mixed breed, but just a big sweetheart. You know, they call him the friendly giant. He would be the perfect pet for someone who doesn't have another animal and not good with small kids. Otherwise, how about Pipsqueak? Love the name right there. He is available today. Probably better if you got a fenced-in yard, but just loves to kind of hang out with you. Once again, he's the big guy. He's available at the Humane Society of Charlotte. Pipsqueak. By the way, they're open Sunday through Thursday, 11 a.m. to 5 p.m., Friday, 11 a.m. to 7 p.m., and Saturdays, 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. Let's get a view one more time. His name is Pipsqueak. He's about a year old. He weighs 128 pounds. And Pipsqueak is our very special weekend tail wagger.
Thank you so much, Larry. Well, the North Texas city of Garland is tipping its hat to history, literally. Today, the city is going to unveil its newest landmark, a giant cowboy hat to honor its title as the cowboy hat capital of Texas. You see it being raised there. Fittingly named the Big Hat, the 20-foot wide sculpture designed and created by Mellow Designs and Signs of Fort Worth is going to stand near the city's historic rail yard. It will also be alongside an exhibit called Hats Off to Garland, highlighting the city's role in shaping cowboy culture. Okay, we've got a Texas gal with us here.
Yes, you know, everything's bigger in Texas, so I'm not surprised. You know, this is also when the State Fair of Texas happened.
Okay, so a perfect time.
Yes, and Big Tex. I don't know, have you heard of Big Tex?
I haven't heard of Big Tex, but I've heard of the State Fair of Texas. I've heard it's amazing.
It's so fun, but Big Tex is basically like a big Texan. And so the hat would go perfectly on Big Tex.
Oh, I love that.
It's an emotion, yes.
Okay, how's the weather looking?
Well, if you do have any outdoor activities planned today, definitely want to do it during the early afternoon hours. Starting this morning off damp, and then we've got another round of scattered showers and thunderstorms. This will be heavier towards the evening hours. Now, we will be drier for Sunday, a little bit warmer, highs in the lower 80s, but those rain chances will start to go up with potential impacts from what will be Tropical Storm Imelda later on this weekend. This forecast is subject to change this week, so make sure to tune in. We've got more updates to come throughout the weekend.
All right, thank you so much, Becca, and thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you right back later on this evening.